When I was at my weakest, that's when God decided to show his strength. In 2014, I wanted to buy a house. It's everybody's dream, and I felt like I was ready to do that. So I got a roommate, and so that I could save money, and I was saving, and I got to a point where I was actually looking for houses with the realtor, and then he told me that I might as well just give up because it's out of the market and I can't do it. So I was a little bit discouraged, but I was like, okay, I'll just wait till the market improves and I have more money like he told me to do. But then it didn't work out with my roommate, so I ended up getting my own place. Then I started getting impressions that I needed to buy a house. And I know it was an impression because it was a strong feeling that I didn't want to do. I was comfortable, and I was like, I was talking to God about, no, I don't want to buy a house. I tried that already, it didn't work. So when I moved into that apartment, I saw that the spout was dripping pink in the bathtub. And I thought, immediately I thought it was my water causing that. So I went back and I researched what makes the bathtub pink. And I found that there's this bacteria called Serratia marcensis. We also call it pink mold because even though it's not a fungus, it's as deadly as mold. They tested my blood and they said I had a bacterial infection in my blood. So I started seeing this doctor in February. And right before I started seeing him when I was getting those impressions that I needed to move. And then I started seeing him and he told me he thought my house was toxic because every time I would go on vacation or go away from my home and I would come back, then it seemed like my symptoms would get better and then get worse. And that's when I freaked out and I was like, I can't. I was more afraid to sleep in my apartment than to sleep in my car. And so I started sleeping in my car. And now I'm in like this situation where I can't even, like I'm homeless now. So like, how do you go from homeless to owning a house? Because I was like, Lord, I know you want me to do this, but now it's impossible. And I asked for forgiveness, but I was like, now this is impossible. So please, if you still want me to do this, please provide me a place to stay for 2 months free and help me to come up with the money to afford a house. I felt this strange sense of confidence, like I didn't feel confident that God would answer my prayer, but I felt confident that he would if it was really what he wanted me to do. And so the only friend I mentioned it to, I mentioned something. So she went and told somebody she was close to, and they wanted to help me. So when Margaret offered me to live at their house for 2 months, she didn't know that was an answer to my prayer. And I found out later that Les, her husband, was fully expecting me to be there for like a year. Even though they said 2 months, he thanked me later when I told them I was closing on a house and it had been exactly 2 months. That was definitely a direct answer to prayer because they didn't even know that I had prayed that prayer. I don't even know. I can't really explain how I did it. And I realized that I didn't do it because I had tried to buy a house before and I knew how difficult the process was. But somehow God helped me to come up with the finances to afford a down payment. At the same time, he helped me find just the right house, and I closed in 2 months. So I was really asking for miracles, but he provided them. We know in our heads, we know about God's mercy, but I actually got to realize it. I experienced it because I didn't deserve for him to help me the way he was helping me, but he did, and that's mercy. That was a deep revelation into like the heart of God for me. I learned from that experience not to fight with God, which was something I kind of had been doing in smaller things. After that, I realized, like he knows better than we do. And even when you want something and it doesn't make sense to you, it's better just to trust that he cares for you more than you can imagine, and he knows better than you do. So if you could see what he sees, you would want exactly what he's doing. the beautiful thing is that with God, he says that even though a righteous man falls down 7 times, like he still gets up. And like God will never leave us or forsake us. Like the prodigal son, he's always there waiting for us to come back. That's what I learned about God's mercy.